What is up, guys? Zan here with AntCap for another Friday film study, and this is going to be our $1,000 matchup last week between Pavan and Canes, and we're going to talk about why you need to stay the course to compete in competitive Madden. Before we dive into this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of the great tutorials that we've got headed your way here on the Playbook.gg YouTube channel. Okay, guys, so welcome back, and you are watching very, very early in this ball game. Just from the jump, we see Pavan with a big interception with Ronnie Lott. Now, this kind of film study is going to be talking about the importance of staying the course in competitive Madden. And AntCap, what do we talk about when we talk about staying the course?
That's basically not letting the game get out of your hands. You saw that first play here. Canes goes ahead and throws an interception. It's kind of like what they say with DBs. If you get beat once, make sure that you kind of put it behind you. Great shooters in basketball. You got to keep on taking your shots. When it comes to Madden, it is something that you want to make sure that you can't allow a mistake to depict the rest of the game for yourself. Play your game. Make sure that if it is something that you continue to make mistakes for, Madden has a way of allowing you to continue and fight back. The best players in the competitive field always have a chance of winning the game, and that's kind of something that we're going to show you and kind of speak about in this Friday Night Football session.
If you guys are a fan of good defense, look no further than this ball game. Again, Pavan here on offense after the early interception. Kane's going to be wearing those throwback Eagles uniforms that are the aqua and yellow. What do you think about those uniforms?
I'm not a fan. It's something that I'm more of a traditionalist, and there are some great type of uniforms from the past. I just don't think this is one of them. But when you're playing Madden, sometimes if you played me, I'd be looking at these uniforms and be like, these are terrible, and it'd get my mind off the game. So sometimes it is a psychological thing. But I do find it interesting that Pavan is one of the first people to bring this 3-3-5 type blitzing to the scene in club championships, and Canes is coming at it, and he's actually giving Pavan a little bit of a little bit of a dose of his own medicine, but making it very tough for him to move the ball.
You see right there, he gets the pass interference call just a hair early there with Ronnie Lott. I like the bait right there by Canes. You saw right there, he baited the drag, jumped down on it, and then it looked to me like Pavan might have thrown that ball a little late. And yes, I am saying the name Pavan. I can already see our chat or our comments on the YouTube channel going crazy saying, it's Pavan. Zan, it's Pavan. You're mispronouncing it. No, it's Pavan.
Yeah, I've been having a hard time. I got it written down on my sheet how to say it, and I probably will mispronounce it throughout, and it's no disrespect. It's just one of those things that, you hear it over and over again from different players and different people that, you kind of get that pronunciation yourself. But it is definitely Pavan.
Yeah, Pavan. He corrected us. This is a little stick work right here by Pavan. As you see, picks up the first down. Number 84, I'm not sure if that was the tight end or Randy Moss right there, but pretty good stick work. I'm going to assume that was Moss with that double spin. Oh, he doesn't even have Shannon Sharp, so that 100% was Randy Moss on that play.
Definitely was Moss. And that's definitely, it's a nice little start for Pavan on this game. He looked like he got the initial interception, looked like he was pinned deep, and then he was able to get that throw to get, fourth and short, able to get that penalty. So now he's definitely got the momentum in this game. He's driving. Anytime that you get a early turnover and know you're getting the ball back in the second half, you are definitely ahead of the game. So no matter what he gets in this situation, he should feel good that he's got control getting the ball back second half.
You see all these individual adjustments, crossman galore. You see the safety on the tight end. He's going to take the crossing route right here. It's going to lead to another coverage sack. This 3-3-5 defense has definitely come onto the scene, made popular by Pavan at the club championship, and now pretty much everyone runs this defense. What makes it so hard to attack this defense?
There's several different things. The way that he got creative angles, it does give a little bit of a disengage type of defensive advantage where they get to the quarterback. The fact that you can have your safeties at linebackers that can go ahead to give you a little bit more speed on the field. Your linebackers have the capability of not only getting the safeties there, but they also have the ability to cross man as well as your safeties. So you can have up to basically 5 people cross manning everywhere on a traditional way. We've shown a different way in our in our game plans that we actually get another person to go ahead and cross man. That's in our playbook.gg website that we do in our 335 plan. But for the most part, most people will utilize 5 to 6 different players on the field in a cross manning situation. Just gives you a lot of options.
Yeah, for those that aren't aware, playbook.gg, we do have a 335 defensive game plan up on the website. And Cat kind of alluded to that. We're going to be able to cross man an extra player that you actually can't really cross man. We got a nice little tip, a little secret tip on how you can do that. So make sure you guys check out playbook.gg. $9.95 a month gets you access to everything on the website. And if you guys are watching this video here today, the day it was updated, that means that we had just put out some serious. His 5-2 defense is now on the website as well. Pretty nice little aggressive defense as we see another interception by Pavan.
Oh, this is crazy. First 2 passes of the game that you got Canes is throwing picks. And Pavin's got to be loving life right now. He's in field goal range already, up 3, getting ball back second half. He's in a position to basically, take over this game early and really make this game, a fighting battle for Canes. But as you can see here, same way Canes responded the first time he threw a pick, he went ahead and got him in a deep situation where he sent some extra players and was able to get a sack early.
That's why we talk about staying the course. You saw Canes, obviously, he threw the user pick on the first play that we were able to watch to Lot, but then he was able to stand up for himself and hold to 3, and now he's got another 3rd down and 9. You see right here, even if you turn the ball over once or twice, you've got a shot to keep it a 1-score game. Even if you turn it over, you just have to stand up for yourself on defense.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going. This is what, makes championship players who they are. Not everybody's going to have a perfect game offensively. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to have different reads. Sometimes you just want to go ahead and tip your cap off to the defense that they played, an excellent way against you. But sometimes how you respond afterwards is more important. And as you can see here, after throwing 2 picks, he's really in a position to where he can hold his opponent to less than 7 points. You know, the momentum changes. If you're Canes, you're not happy about what by throwing 2 picks, but you've got to be happy about escaping, basically 2 picks and only giving up 6 points.
So you see Pavan, yep, he puts that up and through 6-0. For those that are not familiar with Friday Night Football, maybe this is your first time on our YouTube channel here for Playbook.gg. Friday Night Football is presented by Mutthead and sponsored by Grubhub. You can use the code TOUCHDOWN for $10 off of your first order on Grubhub.com. So if you're a pre-existing customer, this offer is not available to you. But if you are a brand new customer, potentially looking into Grubhub as they expand across our nation, you guys can use that code anytime while this promotion's active. Right now, we are in the middle of a huge block of Friday Night Football games, and we're going to be doing this for the foreseeable future. So make sure you guys check out that deal as we head into the second quarter.
Absolutely. The Grubhub's got an amazing line of different restaurants that they go ahead and deliver for. We just had a nice little KFC tailgate that we had last time where, if you guys don't know, the Yum brands, basically your KFCs, your Taco Bells, all get delivered by Grubhub. And it's just a great opportunity to get some great food. As you can see here, Canes goes ahead and throws another interception. That means 3 possessions. We're early in the second quarter. I mean, you couldn't have written this up better for Pavan from a defensive standpoint, but the game is still only 6-0.
Yeah, and you see right here, Pavan probably starts to feel a little bit of pressure right here. It's one of those things where you've played such great defense to start the ball game, but you only have 6 points to show for it simply because your opponent threw those picks basically on his side of the field, flipping the field. Right now, Pavan, despite having the lead, probably a little bit feels boxed right now.
Absolutely. If you just saw that stat, he's already got 7 sacks, Canes does. And Pavan, on all 3 of his plays that he got after the interception, end up getting sacked. As we're seeing here, Ronnie Lott goes ahead and gets a pick 6. That's really staying the course. That was the main topic of this. Canes kept on putting pressure, kept on showing that, Pavan did not have an answer for his defense. Even though he's not moving on offense, he went ahead and now has a 7-6 lead and hasn't, I don't even know if he's completed a pass on offense. I know he's thrown 3 to the opposite team, but you're talking a 7-6 game. The whole game has changed its course already.
I believe that we tuned into this matchup coming back from the break on the cast. We came in about a minute late, and he was around midfield. But once we tuned in, the picks started happening. Canes has thrown 3 interceptions on the only 3 pass attempts that we've seen from him in this ball game. And now you're going to start to see him kind of settle in a little bit, try to start running his offense. You're right there, a little bit of a risky pass, but a nice juke by Moss. And he stays on his feet. And he's able to pick up a nice chunk of yards, about that would be 25 and another 14. That 39-yard gain right there on a simple drag route to Moss. And sometimes it's that short throw that sparks your offense and gets you going.
Absolutely. I think that was a great call by Pavan because he hadn't been able to get a successful throw off on first down since we've been watching this. And that simple drag route basically kind of put it out and got him that. But you can see here again, like, every time he tries to go for a little bit more distance on his throws, he gets himself in trouble. This is now the pick by your lineman. Actually, it was Parker, the safety there, and was able to take it back. So now you got 2 picks in a row, 14-6 ball game. And Canes is now just taking over the game from throwing 3 consecutive picks to now being ahead 8.
And there you see our wonderful sponsor, Grubhub. Again, guys, touchdown for $10 off your first order. Right there, you see things are starting to slide on Pavan, and you saw right there, he actually had a chance to block that extra point, and he missed the dive attempt. So things are just really going south on Pavan right here. But even still, he's made a couple mistakes in a row. It's still a one-possession game, just like it was for Canes before his pick sixes.
It's absolutely true. No matter what, both players got to feel like this game is ugly right now. No one is doing anything on offense. Their defenses have definitely settled in and have controlled this game from the start. It's kind of one of those you have to exhale, basically know that, all right, I need to get to my game. Do I need to throw some high percentage throws? What do I need to do to get this ball to move down? Pavan has done, basically a terrible job of being able to get pass protection anything over 5 to 10 yards. So he needs to know, let me get in a groove. Let me get these short yard throws. Let me get to the point where I can move the ball at a methodical pace. Because if I keep on trying to go for the deeper ball, that's when he's been getting eaten up. And it's definitely something that you want to see as this game progresses. What is, his adjustments to the blitz that Canes is throwing at him.
And that's a really good point that you just made, because this is a great example right here. If you rewind that play, you don't even need to, as Ronnie Lott again forces another turnover. Not only is it going to be a turnover, but he's going to break the tackle, tightrope down the sideline, stay in bounds, and it's a third defensive touchdown in as many drives for Canes. Unbelievable defense, and he still doesn't have a positive yard of offense since we tuned into this ball game, and he's up by 2 scores.
Yeah, that's unreal. It's 21-6, and it went from throwing 3 interceptions, Pavan basically up 6-0, and have the ball. And it really goes back to, wasted opportunities for Pavan. We talked about this earlier, that he had 3 interceptions in a row and only was able to get 6 points out of that. So we'll flip this a little bit, and let's not talk about Canes as much as talks about, when you have the ability, when somebody's down, you want to try to do your best. Obviously, you always try your best, but to get those 7 points and not feel, like you can milk that opportunity there. He's now looking back in the game and saying, "What just happened?" I mean, some unfortunate stuff with the pick that they took back with Parker, and then obviously the fumble 6. But at the end of the day, he had an opportunity to put this game away early, like real early, and now he sees himself down 15.
Down 15, and he tried to throw another pick right there. Fortunately, he threw a high ball to Owens. That's the only reason that T.O. held on to that. You brought up a really good point about kind of taking a breath and trying to analyze. It's very, very hard to do, especially in a $1,000 winner-take-all game of Madden. But one thing I challenge you guys at home to do, this is something I brought up on the broadcast, is start taking a look as you watch this at the pass protections that Pavan has put forward in this game. There are 2 different types of blitzes that Canes is running from the 3-3-5. One is a 6-man variety. He's blitzing the nickel corner, both outside linebackers, and the 3 down linemen. That's a nice blitz, and it's forcing Pavan into a max protect. However, there's this blitz, I believe, that he's setting up right here, that is a 5-man variety. And when you do the 5-man variety, a lot of times what you see is exactly that. You either get the ghost block and you see Ron Parker get his 3rd sack animation, but when you're max protecting that 5-man blitz variety, a lot of times the running back blocking tells the offensive lineman, for some reason or another, to allow the blitzing outside linebacker through the gap, and that the running back will go ahead and take him. So pay attention to this. You'll notice that he's going to have trouble with this. The blitzing linebacker from death will come through the B gap oftentimes, like you see right here, and that forces him to have to get the ball out more quickly. Right there, you could actually send 5 out against 5 rushers.
Absolutely. That's a great point that you just made. Sometimes blocking more doesn't always give you the best targeting from your offense to the defense. I know it sounds a little bit crazy sometimes where you think you got more people blocking that should automatically give you a better chance of, success when it comes to getting them. That's not always the case. And you can see here that Pavan it had a little bit of struggle blocking some of those 5-man blitzes. Now that Keynes has got Pavan in a situation where the only time he's having success is going to a 3-man route combination. And you kind of have to look at the whole picture of the game and say, you know what, maybe I need to try 5-man out, kind of go ahead and see if I can dot somebody up by putting more threats on the field, spreading the field out, or do I have to go to, basically a dink and dunk style? But that's what Pavin's doing right now. As you can see, he's starting to get into a groove. He's feeling like, you know what, I'm going to take the first guy open. I'm not going to wait for the deeper passes where he was in the beginning of the game. If you remember, every time that Keynes threw an interception, Pavan went ahead and got sacked for 7, 8, 9 yards, putting him in a position where he had to go for those deep passes. That's not the way that you're going to attack Keynes, not the way that he's attacking you here. And you can see that he's definitely getting a little bit better and in the groove. And ultimately, by getting all those underneath passes, he was able to get Keynes to step up and throw that post behind him.
And it's crazy the difference between 2 plays right there. You saw right there, Pavan gets on the board with a touchdown, throws the post route for that touchdown. It's because he sent 5 guys out on routes. Had he blocked the running back, there is a pretty solid chance that outside linebacker comes in clean through the B gap, engages with the running back right next to the quarterback, and maybe falls at the quarterback's feet. He doesn't have time to make that throw. Maybe he checks it down to another route. It's really, honestly, I do want to go back to that because you said that sometimes it doesn't make sense. I agree 100% with you. It makes absolutely no sense to me why blocking the running back against a 5-man blitz would make it so the offensive line would just allow him through and go to the running back. He's there to help, not be the guy blocking, somebody, especially when you have 5 versus 5 in that scenario. It does seem a little odd, but I do appreciate right there Pavan, his attention to detail to go to that 5 out against Keynes' 5-man blitz on that drive. If he could have replicated this drive and paid a little bit more attention to how many Keynes was truly sending the entire game, I think he would have had far better success. But he kind of tried to max protect the 5-man blitz early, and this is what put him in this situation where he threw all those interceptions.
Absolutely. And I think that's something that, if he was to rewind this game and get those opportunities back, I think there might have been a different outcome, especially early in the game. And then, this is the first time we're seeing Keynes, after those 3 interceptions, actually have a offensive drive. You can see that it's been a while because he definitely didn't need to high point that pass. He did, and that was what ended up basically getting the breakup. But you're looking at a situation here where there's 20 seconds on the clock. If I'm Keynes, I'm definitely taking this down to 2 or 3 seconds, making this the last play of the half. Not doing anything that, it's been a crazy game already. We don't need to see anything crazy at the end of the half.
I think right there, that drag he threw to Odell to end the first half was the first completion we saw on the broadcast. And this timeout right here is essentially to run the Hail Mary run call. Obviously these are fewer and further between. He's trying to catch him in a quarters 3 deep. And Pavan does not oblige right here. He stays in base defense. That's exactly what you should do in this spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's something that, you're going against a belt winner here in Pavan, knowing that that's probably the call was going to be, especially when he saw what the formation was. He definitely he read that and said, let's go to the second half. Now, what was nice about what Pavan was able to do at the end of the first, he could have a 2-for-1 opportunity. Scored at the end of the first half, and now he's got the ability to score here, with some ability on this nice return to get himself back in the game. It's only a 1-score game technically with 8 points if he wants to go for the 2-point conversion. And, it's been back and forth, back and forth. This is the time where he needs to stay composed and saying, you know what, I can get the momentum back by putting some more pressure on Keynes.
On the broadcast, when that tackle happened, it was not Krieger Kobel that got the tackle, but just having the ability to contact Rod Woodson and slow him down. That was a huge, huge tackle in the broad scope of what this game actually was. You'll definitely see later on in the ball game why I say that. Sometimes you see those players just having a little bit more capable player Even though he doesn't play a lot of snaps, Krieger Kobel, that is, they could show up on special teams, and that was a really big play right there to hold him to just 40 yards on the return. It could have easily been a touchdown.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go with a little bit lesser speed guy as part of your 10 cap initiative of keeping your cap in place, you know, Woodson gets around there and doesn't get slowed up. Now we're talking about an easy touchdown to start the second half, and Pavan wouldn't have really had to work for it other than having a really nice stick work on getting the return. But that little bit of a hang up was allowed for the rest of his team to catch up, and now we're facing a 4th and 12. You can see what when points aren't coming easy for you, and you have to labor to get them. Every yard counts, and just that situation really makes the game change its landscape a little bit because of it.
So here on 4th down and 12, pay attention to how Canes is running the defense, the pass protection scheme here. You see it's a 5 versus a 5. That's a good pass protect, or a max protect versus a 5. It ended up working okay for him right there, and he's able to force the turnover on downs. It looked like he manned up that corner route from pass curl flat as well.
Yeah, it did. It looks like he had a spy instead of sending that one linebacker, and he sent them in late. So when he went ahead and got him outside the pocket. He sent him and put him the quarterback on a timer, and I don't think he was able to get the same type of throw that he was looking for because he had a man in his face. So all in all, it was a great call by Canes to disrupt the timing of the throw, and you can see that he got rewarded by getting the ball back and. Now has an opportunity to go up 2 scores with just any type of points on the board on this drive.
I'll tell you one thing is that if this were any other game where both players were not struggling, you would see GGs in the chat. An early third quarter, and you're down by 8, and you give the ball to your opponent on turnover on downs. Typically a GG spot, but with Canes having so much trouble in the first half to move the ball, you're almost thinking, this isn't really GG. I mean, that's his deepest pass we've seen him complete right there, that corner route.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way this game has felt and the way it comes out as an ugly game, meaning that from an offensive standpoint, not much of a ability to basically get your offense moving. Every yard counts in it, and it did look like it wasn't promised that Keynes was going to make any points on this, and the fact that he was able to make that throw, was able to escape pressure there and get that run to the 1 yard line. That's really a big play in this game in order to at least allow him to get a 2 point score depending on what he does on this drive.
You see right there, he goes to the single back wing tight, goes to the dive call, and that 3-3-5 defense holds the door right here. I'll tell you what, nothing tilts me more, but I understand why. It's because you got those minimum cap players. Now, this time he goes to the QB sneak, and he's able to get in for the touchdown. And now all of a sudden, Canes, who's had a pretty ugly game, is now comfortably out in front and back on defense, which I think is probably where he wants to be anyways.
Absolutely. I think this is really now takes the pressure off of him, makes Pavan have to basically show that his offense is ready for the challenge to get 15 points. Keynes has been one of the guys that have already won a belt when it comes to our championships in Friday Night Football. And he's kind of a streaky player. He won one early in the year. I think it was Friday Night 3. That he won the 5 consecutive games, and then up to this point he's won 4 consecutive games. So that's 9 of his 13 wins going into this game came off of those two. And he was only 2-6 from there. So he's one of those guys that have been very streaky. So getting him in this position, definitely, you can see that he's got that momentum that's building, and that's why it was really important for Pavan to really take advantage of his early turnovers, but as you can see, wasn't able to, and now he's forced to kind of play from behind in this game.
Another one of those situations where he blocked the running back and that linebacker blitzing from depth came right through and engaged with the running back. It's just, he's doing a good job of mixing up the types of blitzes. Sometimes he's sending 6, sometimes he's sending 5. That one, actually, I think he dropped the nose tackle into a 3-rec hook, or maybe just a straight up hook curl to the left, allowing that pressure to get in. I really like what I'm seeing out of Canes. It would be easy to say that he's running the same defense as everyone else, but truth be told, he's really not with the way that he's blitzing Pavan in this ball game.
No, he definitely isn't. He's using the same principles, but he's mixing up the amount of people. But he's also that nose tackle going into that 3 hook that you were talking about earlier has really even opened up the ability for the blitzes to come in, because it appears that the center's doing nothing. He's basically just, instead of having that center basically block the nose tackle. He's just sitting there because there's no other threats around him, and he's getting an extra player on the field to help with some of those zones when Pavan went to a lot of the underneath drag routes or quick slants. Now that initial throw is not there, and you can see 11 sacks already on the game for Canes.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I
He's
mean,
mixing it up. I mean, he's
yeah.
the last two blitzes, two completely different blitzes. One was a free runner,
Mhm.
the other one was a coverage sack, and now he's bringing a completely different blitz. And look at that. The running back gets swerved, and anytime you've got to lay out with Michael Vick into a trio, a quartet of tacklers, you know that's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 4th and 12, he's got to put his body out there and hope for the best. Because he was right there at that first down marker. I'm not sure he would have made it anyways, but obviously it turns up as a turnover in the stats, and just another one to add to the game. But he's got Pavin basically on the ropes every single play, trying to figure out where the splits is coming from and what an answer is. And it's probably one of the better called games that I've watched when it comes to competitive Madden by using something that's very meta-like, but going ahead and adjusting to give somebody, something to think about every down.
I'll tell you what, if I were labbing up for DreamHack right now, this little nose tackle drop defense would be 100% something that would be inserted into whatever defense I'm running. Chances are you're running a book that has 3-3-5 anyway, whether it's New York Giants or Cincinnati if you're a 4-3 guy. You definitely have to add this because that nose tackle dropping into the short hook, even if it just takes away that quick throw window to a drag, that's something that you can add to your defense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, any blitz that you can start eliminating one of the players and putting them into a zone and still get the same results. I mean, that's a great find, and he can definitely introduce this. This is the first time I'm seeing this, on the stage, and him introducing this in this Friday Night Football tournament. As you can see, he had great success, and he's sitting there a quarter away of getting his second championship. If he could go ahead and find a way to close this game out.
Boys, I watched this game. Quality of reads are not there. This is not the game film study to watch if you're looking for offense right now. But if you're looking for defense to take your game to the next level, 100% one of the better played defensive games on both sides. Even though it looks like Kings has put up a ton of points, it's really been a tale of two defenses.
That's absolutely correct. And I mean, I know Canes from watching him through Friday Night Football and watching him in the club championships. He was a trips tight end guy. I mean, tried and true. He was very big about doing a hitch in on the inside receiver, and had the crosses coming around and playmaker him. That was his whole game. And right now, he changed a bunch, and you can see. I don't know if that's probably the best way he should have done it. His defense is really holding him up, but sometimes you just kind of you're in and out of formations and see what you're most comfortable in at a time. I can't argue with it. He's in our championship game right now, but it's definitely can tell that he's not as comfortable right now. What I've been seeing in this game.
Now it gives up a quick score to Pavan right here. Now he's got life. He's going to put the extra point up and through. It's going to make it an 8-point ball game. One thing that I noticed from Canes on that drive is he started to go with a little bit more of the hybrid man behind those blitzes, and then Pavan was just able to make a good read. Whereas a lot of the great defensive drives he had before, it was pretty much just mixing up his blitz in front of a cover two. Now we talked about Krieger Kobel earlier, and Canes had him. But Pavan, he doesn't have that Kriegel Kobel, and I can't say that name for the life of me. And you see OBJ untouched for the touchdown.
Absolutely. I think that's the difference between having some, extra speed out there, even though Pavan had his user, and it just got to the point where if he didn't take the absolute best angle at the player, he wasn't getting a shot. And, OBJ was able just to get around the guy and be able to take it to the house. I guarantee he feels that, if he had a little bit more speed on that user player, then, we're still playing for a little bit more points. But now, that the difference between that 7 points that was put on the board with Canes and the 7 points that wasn't put on the board by Pavan is a difference between special teams in a crazy game like this. It definitely shows.
So he's going to go back to more of what he was doing on the previous downs right here. And again, you see that nose tackle. He gets the
Yeah.
ghost animation off that left side. He's only sitting forward. He's getting the ghost blocking animation off that left edge. I think that's the third or fourth time I've seen that particular look to the blitz. But then there are times where he blocks the running back on the side of that blitz and the guy comes clean through. But when he sends everyone out on routes, you notice the blitz pickup is much better. He's able to deliver a strike downfield to Randy Moss.
Yeah, it is. And it's he's had a lot of repetitions today. He's 17 for 23, and it's not like he's not getting good results. It's just he keeps on putting himself in bad down and distances because of the way that Keynes is getting there. As you can see, the camera changed on him, and this is just a crazy play. Not even when the camera changes, you throw it up, right? Owens had a big game. He went up there with a one-handed to get the score. But yeah, back to your point is, the fact that he's going back and forth with what he's doing. Keynes is finding his ability to razzle Pavan because of that. And I think this is why people will. I guarantee you, Pavan's going to study this film. He's going to see, what did he do successfully against me? When did I have great success against him? And whenever I did, I need to know what I can do and prepare for this next time. And that's how competitive players go. He's going to look at this and learn from it and improve on it, and not just sit on it. And that's something that, if you want to be a better player and get better at it, I definitely say, go through your highlights at the end of the game. Go ahead and tape your games, see what you struggled on and why you struggled it, and kind of think to yourself, what could I have done differently? And the best players do that.
Absolutely. And if you struggle with that personally, I highly advise you guys to check out playbook.gg. Go to www.playbook.gg. Our defensive game plans, we take that very similar approach. We want to lab the game where we start with the blitz that is a 5-out blitz, where, okay, this is the blitz that requires the least amount of resources to get pressure against a simple 5-man protection. Then we lab what is the way to pick that up, whether it's slide protection, blocking a running back, blocking a tight end. And then once we find that counter, we go and we start to develop our next blitz. Okay, so what is the blitz that counters the counter to our base blitz? That's essentially all Keynes did all game long. He literally had 3 or 4 different unique blitz setups with crashes and different guys blitzing at different angles. He knew exactly how he could attack a max protect. He knew exactly how he could attack the tight end blocking. And he knew exactly how he could attack the running back blocking. And then he also knew how to attack, 5-out. So he had all those blitzes for each scenario, and he just ran them to perfection by mixing them up appropriately based off of down and distance. And that's what we do on playbook.gg.
That's absolutely correct. And I think that's, you got to give Keynes his, tip the cap to him for the preparation. And once you start seeing that you're getting home on blitzes, that definitely changes the approach by the offensive player to where now Keynes can sit and say, you know what, I can put an extra person in coverage because I've got him on a timer. He's got happy feet. He's only throwing underneath patterns right now because every time, that he needs to get a little bit more yards, I'm sending a certain blitz and he doesn't have the time to. So subconsciously, Pavin's thinking, you know what, I don't have enough time to make these routes develop. I need to start getting in a rhythm underneath. And, Keynes, that's what I said earlier, called one of the best games that I've seen this year defensively, that had an answer for everything and called it at the correct time to keep him off balance all game long.
So now you see there, after the draw calls, Keynes is going to milk this clock all the way down. Ideally, he ought to take the delay of game right here. It would move it back to a 47-yard kick, which is well within the range of even a Dan Bailey, which is about as low as most players go. The field goal put him up by 11. Obviously, right here, the only way Pavan stands a chance is if Keynes doesn't kick it perfectly. And you see right here that it was not a perfect kick, but Pavan did not get the block animation, and that's going to basically do it. Keynes moves on, becomes a 2-time champion in Friday Night Football.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if I'm part of the norm. I don't kick that field goal there. I punt that. There's only 7 seconds. If I've never seen a punt blocked, but I've seen several field goals blocked. In my opinion, if you can just pooch punt it, take another 3 or 4 seconds off that clock, you're talking one play from the 5-yard line rather than a possible block kick. But obviously, he went for the kick. It didn't hurt him. But in a crazy game like this, I'm taking every opportunity possible to ensure that I don't have that happen to me.
Absolutely. You got to sit back and look at risk assessment. Are the odds of my opponent triggering a block kick animation and returning it to the house as big as the odds of my opponent Scoring a 95-yard Hail Mary and getting 2-point conversion after that to tie the game, I would say probably go with the 95-yard Hail Mary instead. I know that's crazy to say, but that's sometimes how Madden plays, and you can see my ugly mug right there next to the goo. Canes moves on. Two-time champion. He joins Clef, D. Croft, and Strafen with 2 belts. And we call them belts. We don't actually have a physical belt, but he joins the club.
He does. You got to give your hats off to him because, that's a very, very elite club right now when it comes to winning two. There's not many that have won one. We're in Friday Night 15, and half of our titles, our belts, have been gone to 4 different players in stacked tournaments. So, when these guys can show it, it really shows, that anybody can win it, but a lot of the time, the consistency of some of these guys is very impressive.
Absolutely. So Canes moves on with the victory. We will continue to do these Friday film studies every single Friday here on youtube.com. The Playbook GG channel, we're growing every single week, but we do run these Friday Night Footballs on twitch.tv/MuttheadTV, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 Central, sponsored by Grubhub. Again, guys, use that code touchdown. We hope to see you guys out there on the cast this week. We got a nice little bracket. We're going to do a squads event next week on the 31st of May, so we hope to see you guys out there. But I'll go ahead and sign this one off here for AntCap. Until next time, this is Zan. Get in the lab, and good luck. If you like this video, check out one of the videos on your screen right now. And for more in-depth analysis, visit www.playbook.gg for detailed game plans written by pro Madden players. Master the game with playbook.gg.